That. Now let's come back to the UK then and the online safety bill. And that has now finished its initial passage through the House of Commons. It's headed to the House of Lords. It had its first reading in the House of Lords this week, and it will continue its way through. But still new amendments coming. So here is Michelle Donelan, the Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. And of course, we've been reporting over the last couple of weeks that Sunak and Donelan have been facing Tory rebellion over the issue of whether to have custodial sentences for the platforms, for the management of platforms that don't follow the rules that they want to set down in this bill. So here's what she's saying. I have engaged extensively with members of this House recently regarding a number of amendments which have been tabled for the report stage of the online safety bill. We've carefully reviewed new clause 2, which sought to make senior managers criminally liable for breaches of the bill's child safety duties. I'm sympathetic to the aims of the amendment. We need to take the time to get this right. We intend to base our amendment on the Irish Online Safety and Media Regulation Act 2022, which introduces individual criminal liability for failure to comply with a notice to end contravention. The final government amendment at the end of ping-pong between the Lords and the Commons will be carefully designed to capture instances where senior managers or those purporting to act in that capacity have consented or connived in ignoring enforceable requirements, risking serious harm to children. So they keep pushing this child harm issue as if it's the real reason for the online safety bill, but let's keep going. The criminal penalties, including imprisonment and fines, will be commensurate with similar offences. So they are going to pursue, they've capitulated to the minority within the Tory party that's demanding this. They've decided that they're going to go with it. But in the meantime then, Michelle Donelan has published an article in Conservative Home. Michelle Donelan, the online safety bill, legal but harmful, had to go, and here's why. So she's trying to suggest that this is no longer a thing. But let's just have a look at what she has to say here. Frankly, in my view, she says, the social media giants have no right to tell adults what legal content they can or cannot see, and neither does the government. Let's just read that again. Social media giants have no right to tell adults what legal content they can or cannot see, and neither does the government. So that paragraph, she says that. And in a later paragraph, she says, for adults, my new triple shield mechanism delivers choice. Where content is illegal, clearly it should be removed. If a platform says in its terms and conditions that it does not allow certain content, they must keep that promise and remove it. But did she not say that platforms don't have a right to decide what kind of content people see? But now she's saying they do. In fact, they're required to remove it if they say in their terms and conditions that it's not acceptable. There's no consistency in the argument here.
No, it's rife with contradictions, Mike, and that's because when you get into the business of censoring speech and controlling speech, all you get are contradictions and hypocrisy.
Right. She goes on then. Likewise, where their terms and conditions permit certain content, social media companies will no longer be able to arbitrarily remove this content. Sorry, show me a set of terms and conditions which define what type of content is permitted. You can't possibly list the types of content which are permitted in terms and conditions. Of course, they list the types of content which are not permitted, but they can't possibly list the types of content that are permitted. So that comment from her is complete nonsense, right? But here's the thing. She's arguing here that she's gotten rid of the whole concept of legal but harmful. And we can debate what the term harmful means or who it is that's being harmed. But here's one of the other things that she wrote in her written answer. Aiding, abetting, counselling, conspiring, etc., those offences. Now, she's talking here about illegal migration and people smuggling into the UK. And she's suggesting that posting videos of people crossing the channel which show this type of activity of bringing people into the UK in a positive light could be an offence that is committed online. So correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick, but at this point, it is not illegal to film anybody coming across the channel and posting it online, but they're going to try to make it, even though it's legal, they're going to say it's harmful. They're not defining who it's harmful to, but they're going to make it a criminal offence to do that. So the whole issue of legal but harmful isn't really going away. It's kind of being sort of pushed to a lower priority, at least in terms of the headlines. but it's still there.
This is confusing, Mike. So if you show it in a positive light, in other words, if you're cheering for
migration, now I'm not suggesting we should be cheering for migration by any means, but the point is it's not illegal.
It's a thought crime,
right?
It's
what has the
political.
mainstream media been doing over the last several years but cheering for migration, right? And so when they do it, though, that will be protected because they're in the media. But if somebody else who feels that it's a good thing that migrants are coming to this country,
like a resident who lives in Kent or Folkestone or Dover or something like that, who's concerned about this, will they?
Well, no, they would be posting. They'd be posting videos that are against the migration.
But suppose they were in favor of it. How can that be a criminal offense? That's just their opinion.
So this is something which is legal, but she believes is harmful. And therefore, the concept is still there.
What they're missing here, Mike, is they cannot prove any mechanism that if somebody from Kent was filming a boat coming across the channel and said, "Yay, more immigrants," show me how that translates into any actual harm. If it's some random post on Twitter, or even if it's like some people say, give it 100 people give it a thumbs up. What exactly does that mean?
She is arguing.
Where is the social harm in it?
She is arguing that it could be interpreted as promotion of people smuggling, which is complete nonsense. But anyway,
it is. No, you have to get more granular and more specific. They don't want to.
No.
They want to keep it totally wide open,
Correct.
Arbitrary, so that they can move the goalposts as and when they want. That is the problem with this, and this is also the problem with the online harm concept. Right now, as things are, with the current laws on the books, Mike, okay, police have certain powers to investigate if there's a criminal or a crime committed or it's incitement. There are already laws on the books for that. Can the government show that the laws that are right now, today, are inadequate and are somehow causing a spike in all of these sort of crimes? I'm not talking about complaints or random things here and there. I'm talking about anything substantial that can move the dial socially or on a civilizational level. The answer is no. I certainly don't see it reported in the media. I see a lot of people talking about we need to do more, we didn't do more. But what are they saying? That the police aren't prosecuting? Is that what they're saying? Or like, it's really difficult to say. It seems like they're wanting to run this whole Orwellian agenda forward without showing that there's a basis or a need for it in the first place.
Indeed. Well, let's stick with the Orwellian part of it at least, and let's look at the BBC here. This was a fantastic article. Greta Thunberg, German police deny protest detainment was staged. Now, we showed the Greta Thunberg video, I think on Extra on Wednesday, and it was absolutely clear that the thing was staged, or at least it was clear to me anyway, as they posed for video footage and photographs to be taken. But the German police have denied that the protest detainment was staged. But let's look at how the BBC reported this. German police have denied being extras for Greta Thunberg after false claims that her detainment at a protest in Western Germany was staged. A viral post falsely claimed that the climate activist was being held police was all set up for the cameras. So on the basis, it appears, on the basis of German police denial, because they were embarrassed about being caught out on it, perhaps, the BBC is now definitively stating that these claims are false. And they're not in a position to do that because they have no idea whether the German police are lying or not. Would the German police lie if they're embarrassed in this way? I suspect they would.
Yeah, because there's a huge political price to pay.
Of course there is. And it goes on. Here's another example of it where they've taken an image of a tweet. They've removed the details of who made the tweet, and then they've plastered the word false across it. And the tweet said, "The fake arrest of Greta Thunberg, all set up for the cameras." So
if that's their opinion that it's a fake arrest and it's staged, well, the evidence suggests that it very well could be. So who's the BBC to play gatekeeper and literally positioning themselves as the ministry of truth? Or as Jacinda Ardern said, we are your single source of truth.
Single source of truth, that's what the BBC claims to be or appears to be. And so there you go. I just wanted to make that point. Now, just to finish off for today, I just wanted to let everybody know that Christopher Chope's two vaccine-related bills continue their way through Parliament. They've got a second reading coming up on the 3rd of March 2023. So this is the COVID-19 vaccine damage bill, it's private member's bill. So Christopher Chope pushing that forward. So that's one. And the other one that he has is the COVID-19 vaccine diagnosis and treatment bill. Both of these, I believe, should be getting some support. And so 3rd of March is the second reading. Plenty of opportunity for anybody that's watching this program to be lobbying their MPs and getting support for this. I think it needs everybody to be getting behind it. So that I just wanted to make that point. Look, we're going to end there for today. Thank you, Patrick, for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Vanessa will have more for us over the coming days. And we will be back for some extra in a couple of minutes, but otherwise at 1 p.m. as usual on Monday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you then.